The word dermatoglyphics is less known. What does it stand for?
Dermatoglyphics comes from Greek words derma and glyph. Derma means skin and glyph means carvings. Dermatoglyphics is the scientific study of carvings on our skin, specifically fingerprints, because fingerprints act as blueprint of our brain, reflect the underlying neural development and brain function.
What is the information we get from this scientific study?
Imagine someone has gifted you a beautiful gift, but if you don't open it, you will not get the benefit out of that gift. Likewise, nature has gifted all of us with unique potential. But if we are not able to decode that potential, we won't get the benefit out of that potential.
Audience will like to know on what is the level of precision we have with our analysis.
We commit 90% precision to our clients based on their feedback. They share with us that they find this analysis.
Namaste. Welcome to an exciting episode of Sharing Learning. Today we are diving deep into the fascinating intersection of genetics, brain science and skin patterns. Specifically, how the unique patterns on our fingertips can offer insights into our mental faculties and our SWOT analysis. That's right, we are talking about dermatoglyphics and how it may relate to neuroscience and cognitive function. Could your fingerprints reveal the brain functioning that shape your personality, intelligence, and even your emotional responses? Stay tuned as we explore this incredible connection with our expert guests. Please welcome Mrs. Amii Vikas Mediratta, a dermatoglyphics consultant, NLP counselor, parenting coach, and a memory trainer. Having completed masters in computer applications and worked as a senior IT professional for 12 plus years, Amii decided to take a break from IT industry and endeavored for a new chapter in the field of human well-being. For past 8 years, she has offered consulting services to 500 plus individuals, and her expert consultation has benefited these individuals to discover their inborn potential and shine in their lives. Over to you, Amii.
Thank you so much, Seema, for wonderful introduction. I would like to initiate this conversation with a well-known saying by Albert Einstein. So he said that everybody is a genius, but if we judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. The extension of this saying is that if you allow the fish to swim, bird to fly, and squirrel to climb, they all will do wonderful in their activities, and they will have the sense of self-achievement.
That's true.
So we truly believe that every individual has potential. It is just important to identify the area of potential, and dermatoglyphics holds the key to unlocking this area of potential in an individual. In fact, our rich cultural heritage, as described in the ancient Shastras and Purans, has mentioned about this fascinating field of neuroscience thousands of years ago. I am deeply grateful for this opportunity to study drop by drop from this vast ocean of knowledge. And today, because of this platform, I am able to share that knowledge with you as well as our wonderful audience.
The word dermatoglyphics is less known, Amii. What does it stand for?
So dermatoglyphics comes from Greek words derma and glyph. So derma means skin and glyph means carvings.
Right.
So the carvings on our skin has the ability to say a lot about us.
Right.
So dermatoglyphics is the scientific study of carvings on our skin, specifically on our palms, fingers, soles and toes. But our today's focus will be on fingerprints because fingerprints act as blueprint of our brain.
Right.
So just as a blueprint maps out the structure of a building, these intricate patterns on our fingertips reflect the underlying neural development and brain function.
Right.
The same genetic and environmental factors that influence the growth and wiring of the brain during fetal development also shape our fingerprints, creating a deep connection between the two, that is the brain and the fingerprints.
Interesting. So what is the information we get from this scientific study, Amii?
So, Seema, every individual is the product of two aspects, nature and nurture.
Right.
Nature is what we are gifted by birth. Nurture is what we receive after we are born. That is our parenting, our environment, our upbringing, etc.
Right.
So, although nature and nurture both are significant, nature certainly holds more significance. I will explain you the reason behind it.
Right.
So, have you seen two siblings or even two identical twins?
Right.
They have received the same nurture because they have same parents, same environments, everything. However, at times they are completely different.
Right.
Who better than you will understand this,
Absolutely. I was
because you
going to say
have
that.
an
Yeah.
identical twin
Twin.
sister. So why are they different? They are different because of the difference in their nature.
Right.
And nature we can completely decode through the science of dermatoglyphics.
Right. That
Let
makes
us
sense.
understand this in a better way. Imagine someone has gifted you a beautiful gift, but if you don't open it, you will not get the benefit out of that gift.
Right.
Right? Likewise, nature has gifted all of us with unique potential. But if we are not able to decode that potential, we won't get the benefit out of that potential.
Right.
And then we don't have that feeling of living our life to the fullest.
So basically, our unique fingerprint patterns are more than just markers of identity, and they also could provide deep insights into brain functions and genetic predispositions. Right. So I was surprised when we had the dermatoglyphics done for me and Lalit, and you had a SWOT analysis done, and it was completely done by just looking at our fingerprints. So tell me, Ami, how is it possible?
So let me explain you the scientific approach of dermatoglyphics neuroscience. Our brain has 5 lobes: prefrontal, frontal, parietal, temporal and occipital. These 5 lobes are linked with our 5 fingertips.
Right.
So may I request you to raise your right hand and spread your fingers. Now put it on the left side of your head. Wherever you are seeing these fingers touching the brain lobe, that is the way they are connected.
Right.
So prefrontal with the thumb, the frontal lobe with the pointer finger, the parietal lobe with the middle finger, the temporal lobe with the ring finger, and the occipital lobe with the little finger.
Right.
When we divide our brain into two parts vertically, we get the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. So left hemisphere of the brain is connected with the right hand fingertips, and the right hemisphere is connected with the left hand fingertips. It is the opposite connect.
Right.
So in this manner we get 10 different lobes of the brain.
Right.
And these 10 lobes are responsible for different functionalities that we perform.
Right.
5 lobes: prefrontal, frontal, parietal, temporal and occipital. And when we divide these 5 lobes vertically, we get 10 different lobes. So let me take you through each and every lobe and how these lobes function. So first lobe is prefrontal lobe, which is about intrapersonal intelligence and interpersonal intelligence. So left side of the prefrontal lobe is intrapersonal intelligence and right hand side is interpersonal intelligence. Intrapersonal intelligence is related to your administrative abilities, your self-image and your sense of self-achievement. Right hand side of prefrontal is interpersonal intelligence, which is related to your connect with people in the outside world, your ability to empathize with people around and your leadership qualities.
Right.
And moving on to the next lobe, that is the frontal lobe. Left hand side is logic, which is related to your grasping power, your reasoning abilities and your analytical abilities. So when I say analytical abilities, all sort of analysis: people analysis, situation analysis, numerical analysis, statistical analysis, everything is related to logic.
Right.
And that's why it becomes a very significant lobe of the brain.
Sure.
And right hand side of frontal lobe is imagination. So once you analyze information through logic, how will you do the idea formation? How will you give the solution to what you have analyzed? Your ability to prioritize things, your ability to be focused on what you want to achieve,
Right.
your creativity, your ability to think in vacuum, your long-term memory recall, all these things are the functionalities of imagination.
Sure.
Moving ahead with the parietal lobe. Left hand side of parietal lobe is fine motor skills, which is related to your hand-eye coordination, your flexibility, all the smaller muscles of your body, and your ability to do precision task.
Right.
Right hand side of parietal lobe is gross motor skills, which is related to your stamina, your full body movement. So gross motor skills are very important for 3 important functionalities. First and foremost, it is related to your execution skills. So whatever you plan using your thought zone is finally executed by gross motors. It is also related to your resilience. So whenever you have a low phase in your life, how quickly you will come out of it, how quickly you will bounce back, is determined by the strength of your gross motors. Also, your how you conduct yourself, your body confidence comes from your gross motors.
Right.
Moving forward, temporal lobe, left hand side, is linguistic intelligence, which is related to your pronunciation, your accent, your ability to grasp vocabulary.
Right.
And right hand side of temporal lobe is musical intelligence, which is also related to emotions. So all sort of emotions, love, care, anger, guilt, everything comprises of emotions, and everything comes from this particular lobe along with the love for music. So love for music, your pitch and tone, your understanding about sur, everything is related to this lobe.
Sure.
Moving ahead to the occipital lobe, left hand side is naturalistic intelligence, right hand side is visual intelligence. Naturalistic intelligence is a very vast intelligence. It is related to your nature connect. It is also related to your observation skills, your minute observation. So at times when the child's frontal lobe is very strong, the child can grasp mathematics very well. But if naturalistic intelligence is average, the child will end up doing a lot of careless mistakes. And then the child will start disliking math. So just by rectifying this small thing, the child will start excelling in math. And occipital lobe is naturalistic intelligence is related to all your senses. So sense of taste, sense of smell, observation, everything comes from this part of the lobe. Right hand side of occipital lobe is the visual intelligence, which is related to your love for art. Your understanding about color combination, shape, size, cleanliness is associated with this lobe. So this lobe is very significant for the designers.
Right.
Because designers need to identify colors. So when visual lobe is very strong, they have the ability to differentiate between so many different shades of a single color. And that's why they have good ability in the field of designing.
Does it also relate to your daughter, Amii, who is
Absolutely.
pursuing into designing?
Absolutely. So I did my daughter's analysis when she was in 9th grade.
Okay.
And she had the inclination towards design, but then it was very clear because the strongest pattern in her entire report is in her visual lobe.
Sure.
So then we were very sure that she can pursue designing.
Right.
And I am so glad to share with you today that she is pursuing fashion communication from NIFT.
Nice. Very nice.
She is in her final year right now.
I'm sure she'll do great in her career. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
This is becoming more interesting. When you captured our fingerprints, we got to see different patterns, right, on the fingertips. You told me that I have a specific fingerprint pattern on my fingers that is rare. And so is the case with Lalit's fingerprints. So can you explain me that?
Yeah, so basically there are 3 types of fingerprint patterns: whirl, loop and arc. And within these 3 types, there are multiple subtypes.
Yeah.
So in an individual, we can have all the 10 fingerprints of the same type, or we can have all the 10 fingerprints of the different types.
Right.
There is no standard to this particular thing. Now there is a myth about certain fingerprint patterns that it is good to have these patterns. These are the patterns which can give you great qualities, and these are the patterns which are not good to have. So these are the kind of myths which are there with respect to fingerprint patterns. However, believe me, each and every pattern has certain strengths and certain areas of improvement. Right?
So I was going to ask you actually which pattern is good to have, but you already answered it.
Yeah.
And so can an individual have all types of patterns, or is it only one specific pattern an individual will have?
Yeah. So as I told you, any combination of patterns is possible.
Okay.
So an individual can have all 10 whirls, all 10 loops, or all 10 arcs.
Right.
Or the combination of whirl and loop and arc, or all the 3 patterns together.
So we received valuable insights, Amii, during the consulting exercise on the personality traits, the strengths, the weaknesses, the areas for growth, the relationship dynamics, being a couple, with myself and Lalit, decision-making skills, leadership skills, you explained us all that, and even the lifestyle practices to promote good health. So, how can dermatoglyphics analysis be beneficial to students?
Yeah, so with respect to students, we can understand so many aspects about their education. Right from their board selection, which subjects they are naturally good at, which subjects they will have to put more efforts, which is the best stream selection for the child and the most rewarding career options. We also come to know about the best suitable extracurricular activities for the children. So many times we see that children are exposed to certain extracurricular activities, but they don't enjoy doing them. Yeah, say for example, a child may be good in guitar but may not enjoy drums. A child enjoys Bollywood or hip hop dance, but he or she may not enjoy Kathak or Bharatnatyam or salsa. So, to this extent, we can understand an individual.
Right. I think you mentioned to me as an example that maybe even within a cricketer as a field or a stream, you can actually guide, that child whether he can be a good wicket keeper, a good bowler, or a batsman. Am I right in saying that?
Absolutely.
So this reminds me, Ami, of the Gurukul system wherein the exam was taken of the student only when he or she was ready.
So in olden days, the gurus used to refer to this particular science to guide the students, and that's why Yudhishthir was taught to be a Dharmavir, Arjun was taught to be a Dhanordhar, and Bhim was taught to be a Gadadhari.
So do you want to take some examples, Ami, of the fingerprint patterns?
Yeah, I have done some phenomenal study of fingerprint evaluation. I would like to put forward few examples in front of you today. So first example I would like to take about my friend, my daughter's friend Urvi Thakur Desai. So she is a national level badminton champion, and her fingerprints indicate that she has a very good grasp about mathematics and astronomy as well.
Right.
And currently I am so proud of her. She is pursuing double graduation in mathematics and astronomy in the US.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Second example is about my own younger brother, Dr. Pratik Gandhi. According to his fingerprints, his number one lobe is logic, which is related to your analytical abilities. So because of his extremely good analytical abilities, he has all name and fame as a physician today in California.
Nice.
Yeah, and he also has the passion to heal people. So both these things defines his occupation, and he is so glad to be in this occupation today.
Right.
Yeah. Third example is about my friend Sonia Keshwani, a gold medalist in BCA as well as MCA. She is working with Microsoft. According to his fingerprint analysis, she also has a very good ability as a singer. And I'm so glad to share with you today that she has all name and fame as a renowned singer today.
That's
so
great.
Monday to Friday, she does her IT job, and Saturday, Sunday, she pursues her passion.
That's so nice. Yeah.
So Seema, I would like to share one interesting thing with you today.
Sure.
So when I started gaining knowledge about this wonderful science of dermatoglyphics, I was always intrigued to do your fingerprint analysis because I have closely worked with you.
Right.
I know that you are good in leadership, administration, strategizing, planning, phenomenal communication, operations, everything was there. So I always used to think what will be the strength areas of Seema and what will be the areas of improvement, because I never found any areas of improvement in you. And then when we did your fingerprint analysis, it was so evident that out of 10 lobes, 9 lobes in your report are strong lobes.
Right.
So
That was an eye opener for me as well. I was not aware of the areas or the strengths I possessed then. Right. Yeah. Thanks for that report. It was certainly helpful. Yeah.
it was completely my privilege and pleasure.
Do you want to share something with our audience on those patterns?
So there are certain fingerprint patterns which are rare, and human beings with these fingerprint patterns, when they become aware about these rare fingerprint types, they can have all name and fame their way. So let me put it in simple terms. We have 10 lobes of the brain. If we find a specific pattern which is very rare in a particular brain lobe, then that lobe becomes the lobe of name and fame for an individual. And in Seema, there are 9 such lobes. So much potential she can explore
To
in
be
her
explored
life.
more.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Similarly, if you remember, we also found a differentiating pattern in your spouse's report, Mr.
Right.
Lalit's report.
Yeah.
And he has this differentiating pattern in his thought zone.
Right.
So, thought zone, that is the frontal lobe, is like the CPU of our brain.
Right.
It is that important.
Right.
So, which comprises of logic, imagination, that is the reasoning abilities, analytical abilities, ability to be a visionary,
Right.
etc.
Yeah. Thanks, Amii, for that. So I think for our audience, can we share how does this process work? When somebody wants to consult, for dermatoglyphics, how does it work in, end-to-end cycle?
So the process for dermatoglyphics evaluation flows in this manner. First and foremost, we scan the fingertips. To scan the fingertips, if we have a scanner or if we have some executive around that individual for scanning, we can do scanning using the scanner. Say for example, there are no executives who can do the scanning part. We can guide an individual to take the pictures in a certain way and they can share those fingertips pictures with us.
Right.
And once we receive the fingerprints, the analysis process starts.
Okay.
So the analysis process takes about 3 to 4 working days.
Sure.
After 3 to 4 working days, a precise report is created.
Okay.
And once the report is created, the counseling session is scheduled. The counseling session can be either online or offline based on the convenience of both the parties, like me as well as the client.
Right. So does it take place differently when it is for a child? Does it happen differently when it is an adult which is in picture? How does it happen, Amii, for the counseling?
Yeah, absolutely, Seema. So for children, if a child is less than 12-13 years, we don't involve the child for the counseling session.
Okay.
So if the child is below 12 to 13 years, the consultation session is done with the parents and the guardians.
Okay.
If the child is 12-13 years above, then the child is also included for the consultation session.
Okay.
And the consultation session takes approximately 1.5 to 2 hours.
What has been your experience, Amii, when it comes to this kind of consulting sessions? Is there a reciprocation which is positive from the parents? I mean, what's the kind of feedback they give to you?
Yeah. So, Seema, this, as you know, this science is very new to people.
Right.
And they take time to, have faith in this particular science.
Right.
But once we complete our consultation session of 1.5 hours, we commit 90% of accuracy of the report as
Right.
such. But on completion of the report explanation, our clients give us the feedback that it is 98% accurate. This has been our experience so far.
Yeah.
And 2% is something they have not tried till
Right.
date.
Right.
So Seema, in this 1.5 to 2 hours of session, we can address almost all the questions that you may have in the session.
Okay.
With respect to children, we can answer all the questions like why the child is not sharing the stuff with parents, why the child has difficulty in making friends,
Right.
the child is losing marks because of careless mistakes,
Right.
the child is not focused, procrastinating, or
Yeah.
hyperactive,
Right.
or throwing tantrums. We see physical display of emotions when the child is angry.
Right.
So all these aspects are covered during the consultation session.
Right. I think most of the parents are always worried that our child is not very sure which stream to take, They are not decisive there. And that's where the guidance they try to seek at that point of time. So I'm sure this session will be an eye-opener for them, wherein they'll get that guidance, right?
Absolutely, Seema. So let me explain you about how we approach the stream selection.
Okay.
So different parts of the brain lobes are responsible for grasping of different subjects.
Right.
Say for example, our thought zone, that is the frontal lobe, is responsible for grasping of physics, chemistry and math.
Right.
So if frontal lobe is strong, the grasping of these subjects is very strong.
Right.
And then PCM is a very good option for this kind of child.
Sure.
Right? The occipital lobe left hand side is responsible for the grasping of biology.
Okay.
So if that is strong, the child will have inclination towards medicine or something related to biology.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
As far as medical is concerned, 3 lobes are very important. That is the frontal lobe, left side as well as right side. That is logic and imagination.
Okay.
Because through logic you can analyze the problem, and that is the prime intelligence that a doctor requires.
Sure.
Whenever a patient is coming and sitting in front of you, you should be able to analyze the problem of the patient. So logic is the must intelligence when it comes to medicine.
Yeah. For diagnosis.
For diagnosis purpose. Imagination helps you to give solution to what you have analyzed.
Sure.
And occipital lobe, left hand side, that is the naturalist intelligence. It enables you to have inclination towards medical science, interest in the medical science. So these 3 lobes, when we see are strong in an individual, medical can be an option for them.
Right. And if somebody is aspiring for sports as a field, what do you think Sachin Tendulkar will have in his pattern?
Absolutely. So as far as sports is concerned, parietal lobe is very important. Parietal lobe, left hand side is fine motor skills, right hand side is gross motor skills. So fine motor skills are related to your hand-eye coordination, your flexibility of the body, and your precision task.
Okay.
And gross motor skills are related to full body movement, your stamina.
Right.
So these 2 intelligences are very important, supported by the strong thought zone. Because when you are playing a sport, you are not only playing a sport physically, you also need to strategize.
Absolutely.
So then your thought zone becomes very important.
Right. Very interesting, Amii.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
And as far as frontal lobe is concerned, left hand side of frontal lobe, that is logic, is your financial analysis.
Right.
So people with strong logic are very good candidates to be financial analyst, as well as they will be good in economics as well.
Right.
And right hand side of frontal lobe is imagination. So imagination is related to your creativity, your ability to think in vacuum, your ability to give solution to a problem. So these people are very creative people.
Right.
They can do very well in the areas like designing, architecture, etc.
So, Amii, is there any limitation with regards to this science?
So Seema, as I mentioned earlier, fingerprints are formed by the end of the 5th month of pregnancy. By that time, brain development is also complete.
Right.
So any kind of damage to the brain after 5th month of pregnancy will not be reflected in the fingerprints.
Yeah. Rightly so. So once we do our analysis, how can we use it for our benefit, Amii?
Yeah. So Seema, once you do this analysis, it gives you your complete SWOT analysis. So it gives you your strong areas, you can capitalize on them. It gives you your limitations so that you can work on them.
Right.
So as such, our brain works as a single unit. Once you understand that these are your limitations and you start working on them, it can completely deliver without any kind of flaw.
Right.
So there is a very good and relevant dialogue in the movie Dear Zindagi. It says that life एक jigsaw puzzle है. और हम जैसे लोग, that is the counselor, the consultant and the coach. So हम जैसे लोग आपको इस puzzle के टुकड़े ढूंढने में और जोड़ने में मदद कर सकते हैं. But आपको अपनी puzzle खुद ही ख़त्म करनी है.
बराबर.
Right?
Excellent dialogue.
So we can explain you about your report. We can tell you your strengths. You should go forward and capitalize on it. We will explain you about your limitations and also give you the remedies and suggestions to overcome that. But you will have to take that extra mile and apply those remedies and suggestions.
Right. So, Amii, what makes you passionate about neuroscience?
So, जीवन comprises of 2 words, G और वन. G का मतलब है प्राण और वन का मतलब है प्रकृति. So, जब G और वन, that is प्राण और प्रकृति का संगम होता है, वहाँ से लाइफ शुरू होती है. Right? Through Dermatoglyphics neuroscience, I am able to decode the Prakriti part of an individual. And when I help the person meet their own Prakriti, that is their nature, they can live the life which is more fulfilling and successful.
Right. So what's your vision, Amii?
So, Seema, my vision is very clear. I want every individual to live to their fullest potential. And that's why I have chosen this brand name for my company, that is Areeth. The meaning of Areeth is to work up to your full potential, virtue of highest order.
Right. Yeah, that's so nice, Ami. May I request you, Ami, to take few sample reports and explain so that viewers can actually relate and understand what we are exactly trying to explain them.
So, Seema, we have come to the most exciting part of this discussion. That is, I will explain you how to understand this report. So, the report is there in front of us. You will see 5 lobes of the brain. What you see in the left side is the left side of the brain. Right hand side, we have the right part of the brain. Now, how to understand this report? Wherever you are seeing green color in the brain lobes, those are all the strong lobes of your brain. Blue color indicates the average lobe, red color indicates limitation lobe, and brown color indicates the infinite potential lobes. Right? So, and then you will also see the numbering of the brain lobe. That is the ranking of the brain lobe. 1 is the highest rank, then 2, 3, so on and so forth. If your career is defined based on the first 3 lobes, you will not feel that you will working a single day. Right? So it is like your passion is becoming your profession.
Right.
So now let us take this first sample report. In this report, if you see, entire thought zone is very strong. That is the frontal lobe. So very strong logic, very strong imagination. So the child has very good grasping of mathematics. As far as mathematics is concerned, logic is related to your grasping of arithmetic, statistics, geometry. And imagination is related to your grasping of algebra, trigonometry. So this child has very good ability to grasp all these subjects. But if you see, the parietal lobe is average. One side is average, one side is a limitation lobe. So the child, despite of having good grasping of math, is not practicing math because parietal lobe is related to your execution.
Right.
Putting efforts in someone. कहते हैं ना मेहनत करने की क्षमता होती है जिनमें. So because the child is not wanting to put extra efforts, the child is not practicing and missing out on the benefits of scoring well in mathematics.
Right.
So then once we give the remedy to overcome this,
Right.
the child will start excelling in mathematics as well.
Sure.
Let us take this second example. If you see in this report, all 9 lobes are green. Only 1 lobe is the average lobe. Very bright student. When I met him, I was like, wow, this child appears to me like an Einstein. But if you see, there is a differentiating pattern in his thought zone. Because of this differentiating pattern, the child is misunderstood by the school as well as by the parents. So this pattern is present in not more than 6 to 10% of the individuals on this planet.
Okay.
And the individuals which have this particular pattern are misunderstood at times.
Oh, that's sad.
So then once we discuss the characteristics, we explain the parents by giving different examples. They understand that, oh yeah, this is the way my child is operating.
Right. So do you recommend any kind of, way ahead for these kind of parents or even the child on how he could be handled better
Absolutely.
to overcome this challenge? Yeah.
That's when my parenting tips come into picture.
Sure.
So once we understand this report, first and foremost, we need to accept it, that the individual is wired like this.
Right.
50% of the achievement happens when you accept an individual,
Acknowledgement.
when you acknowledge the individual. And then whatever difference we see, we can achieve that by the remedies and the suggestions.
Right.
So then chess is recommended to this kind of child. So that chess can give the direction to the thinking of these kind of individuals.
Sure.
Yeah, and in the third example, if you see, the thought zone is average, whereas all the other lobes are strong. Okay. So then for this child, the child can do good in all the areas except math. Math is going to be a bit challenging for the child. And I am very glad that the parents understood this and they have made the child do MBA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you see, the child has very strong prefrontal lobe. So these kind of students can do very well in management.
So the administration part could be great. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And the last report I have taken is of a doctor.
Okay.
So if you see, the number one intelligence in this report is interpersonal intelligence. Interpersonal intelligence is related to your empathy, how well you can empathize with the person.
Right.
You're wanting to heal other people,
Right.
right? And another lobe which is at number one position is fine motors.
Okay.
Fine motors, as I told you, is related to your precision task.
Right.
For doctors, fine motors is very important because certain doctors, when they operate, when they give you vaccination, it does not pain at all.
Absolutely.
That is because of their fine motors and that good precision task
Surgical
that they
skills
have,
possibly.
surgical skills that they have.
Right.
So, and then again, the thought zone is very strong in this particular report.
Right.
Strong logic, so can analyze and diagnose very well. Strong imagination, so can suggest the solution to a problem very well. Also, naturalistic intelligence is strong, so interest in bio.
Amii, is it okay if we share the testimonials you have received from your client base?
Yes, Seema, we can certainly share testimonials of few esteemed customers.
That's great, Amii. I think what we will do is we will add these testimonials at the end of the episode.
Sure.
Requesting our audience to watch this episode till the end so that they can have a look at the testimonials received by Amii.
So again, I would like to end this conversation with a very good dialogue that I found in the movie Dear Zindagi. It goes this way: अगर हम अपने आप को अच्छी तरह से समझ लेते हैं तो दूसरे क्या समझते हैं डज नॉट मैटर. फॉलोड बाय अनदर वेरी पावरफुल डायलॉग: हम अपनी लाइफ का स्टीयरिंग अपने हाथ में नहीं लेंगे तो कोई दूसरा ड्राइवर सीट पे बैठ जाएगा. सो आई वुड लाइक टू लीव आवर ऑडियंस विद दिस थॉट टुडे. अंडरस्टैंड योर सेल्फ वेल एंड ट्राई टू टेक charge of your life.
Thanks for your valuable time, Amii, and thanks for sharing insights into Dermatoglyphics. I'm sure our audience will be benefited from this episode. I'm wishing you success in your noble endeavor towards human well-being. Dhanyavad.
Thank you so much, Seema. I retain the pleasure and privilege to be here with you and our lovely audience today.
Hello guys, this is Kushal Parikh. I'm a civil engineer. I'm from Ahmedabad.
Hey guys, this is Vrunda Parikh. I'm a dietitian from Ahmedabad, and a few weeks ago we consulted Amii Mediratta for the fingerprint analysis. Honestly, we were not at all aware about what this fingerprint analysis is all about, but thank God we consulted her. She introduced this program, and we were amazed with the results. And
उन्होंने बताया जो सजेशंस दिए, what is our strength and what is our weakness. So हमने उस पर फोकस किया. लाइक हम एक साथ बैठ के उन पर हमने वर्क किया है कि क्या मेरा प्लस पॉइंट है, क्या वृंदा का प्लस पॉइंट है, क्या नेगेटिव है, क्या पॉजिटिव हम दोनों का है. सो एटलीस्ट वी कैन गेट द आइडिया कि हमें जो लाइफ में ड्रीम्स और गोल्स अचीव करने हैं उसके लिए हमें किस पे वर्क करना चाहिए.
सो वी आर बिग ड्रीमर्स, एंड हम दोनों की स्ट्रेंथ और हम दोनों की वीकनेस उन्होंने अपफ्रंट हम दोनों को साथ में बिठा के बताया. तो नाउ हमारे लिए बहुत इजी हो गया वो चीज़ करना. जो मेरी वीकनेस है वो ये ओवरकम करता है, इसकी वीकनेस है मैं ओवरकम करती हूँ. और उन्होंने इनफैक्ट रेमेडी भी बताई, होमवर्क भी दिया कि कैसे हम हमारी वीकनेस को ओवरकम कर सकते हैं. एंड वी आर ऑलरेडी वर्किंग अपॉन इट एंड वी आर गेटिंग वंडरफुल रिजल्ट. सो ऑल थैंक्स टू अमी मेडिराटा, एंड थैंक गॉड वी कंसल्टेड हर. And yeah, with that we are done. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lata Raman, and I am a mother of 2 teenage boys. I'm here to share my experience with Miss Amii Mediratta. When we first approached her, she had switched careers then, and she was into something new. So she's the one who introduced us to this topic called Dermatoglyphics, which then sounded like a tongue twister to me. So that's where our journey began. And interesting enough, we did Google about what it was and approach her for more insights into this journey, actually, which we call it today. So it was like this. My elder son, Rohan John, who is 18 now, and he's pursuing his media in UK, Wales, mass media and communication. And my younger one, who is 16 today, and he is giving his 10th, that is board exams. Both of them were immensely benefited by her, I would say, guidance and deep insights. Now, what were these? When we did the fingerprints for them, they came out very distinct and very different for the two of them. Like the elder one showed complete different traits from what my younger one was carved out for. And she helped us not only identify what they are good at, what they are naturally drawn towards, or what could be the options depending on their fingerprints, which we always say is very unique. Every person is born with a unique fingerprint. So then it struck to us, oh my God, this is so true. And so it helped us not only decide their career journey, but also find out what are those little things that keep you happy. Stress busters, like we say. So the dermatoglyphics clearly revealed their likes and dislikes, which we were aware of as parents, but didn't quite take cognizance of it to help build a happier life. So I'd like to thank Amii immensely for this insight which she has given, which has helped both my boys, and not only them. And when I saw them benefit out of it, I also did it for myself. So I was traversing crossroads and switching career paths then. It's also helped me find what I like to do most and what makes me get out of bed every day and say, this is the job that I want to be in. So thank you, Amii, for influencing so many lives with so much of perfection and smile and warmth. Thank you once again.
Hello, my name is Vaidehi, and a few months ago, me and my husband had taken our kids for a DMIT session with Amii. And ever since then, the parenting journey has evolved immensely. With her guidance, her very professional DMIT assessment, and her warm personality, which makes it very approachable. For the kids, for us, she has, made sure that she walks us through all the strengths, the weaknesses, the challenges, everything related to our children. And kind of getting introduced to your own kids is a very touching experience for a mom. So I, thank her immensely for that. Some of the things I wasn't aware at all, she was able to handle those questions so wonderfully. She is very professional in her approach, at the same time very approachable and personal. A mother at heart. So it's not just a business for Amii, it's more like she's meant to be. So it's very easy to connect with her for anything. Then when we were counseling, at the same time, even now, if I have any challenges, any follow-ups, it's not like the counseling stops when, your reports are done. It is a continuing process. And she appreciates that parenting is an ongoing evolution, right? So we really are blessed to have her in our life. And Amii, this is a shout out to you for the amazing work you're doing out there. Keep up the good work, and we are so proud and happy to have you as part of our lives, and a mentor for me and a wonderful DMIT counselor for my children. And God bless you so much. Thank you so much, Amii.